Okay, welcome to a 4v4 matchup. And what we have here is we've got 4 players on TeamSpeak versus 4 players on TeamSpeak. So if you have the opportunity to hook up with some friends, find a TeamSpeak server, and play War Game, it's going to take your multiplayer battles to a different level. And we'll see how that plays out throughout this battle. Let's kick this up to 4 speed. And there are some names here you might recognize, although a couple of these guys changed their name just before the match started in case they lost, because they knew they were going to be on YouTube. I won't give away the ending, but we'll find out before this video is over who won and who lost. So at this point, what we're doing is we're talking to each other. I'm telling them I'll D up here. Let me rotate the map to my perspective here. Okay, our team's playing pack, so I'm saying I'll D up here because it's going to be impossible to push Mike. Sithis is going to take care of Bravo and do air support, and then Hayes and Super are both going to take control of the hill and then fan out in either direction. So you can see the opposing team brought in 2 Tomcats right off the bat, but they've got nothing to shoot at. So they might have threw away $280, but I can assure you by the end of this match that they'll have made their money back. So we have Bravo, which is really good here. They instead of spawning the enemy, or instead of spawning out of Charlie and contesting the Bravo spawn, they just D up. We own the hill as well, everything but a command vehicle. You can see the enemy has really not much to contest this hill whatsoever. These Abrams will come up and immediately get frowned upon, right? And then over on the left, we own control of this hill here that overlooks the Mike spawn. So this is a key point because they can't come and attack, right? I own the high ground. Do have some issues here in Hotel that 2 Spetsnaz units and a Hind helicopter will sweep through Hotel. So we have map control right off the get-go, and it stays pretty well tied up throughout most of the match outside of the last 6 or 7 minutes. So something about playing on TeamSpeak with 4 other people and playing against 4 other people is look at the battle map here. Well, that doesn't help if I hide the HUD. You can see that from one end of the map all the way to the other, we have full lines. There's no gap. Sometimes you know as well as I do, you go into a pub match, and you'll be all zoomed in over here, right? And you're doing well, and you got Bravo, and then you zoom out, and like the whole left side of the map is just a big gap. No one went left on your teammates. So this is definitely an advantage of playing with guys on TeamSpeak right here. And what the game becomes is a series of small skirmishes, positioning AA, positioning your ground troops, having a very solid defense, and the opportunity to build up attack forces, which is what we can see going on here. The NATO team is building up forces to eventually assault Foxtrot. Okay, Hotel's all cleared up. Bring in a command vehicle. So what I'm going to do also is post this replay as a comment on the forums. So what you can do is get that replay, look at it on your own computer, look at some of the different unit compositions for some of the different teams here. You know, you just cycle through. So look at these overlapping lines here. Here's one player in blue, next player in blue. Did I skip one? Next player in blue, and finally the next player in blue. You can see how each of these players has overlapping lines. It's not segmented like what you'll find sometimes in a 4v4. And I believe the same can be said for our team. Well, we've got one over there, another, another, and another. So we're not as overlapped as possibly the other team is. I think that's because what we saw for NATO is that they're building up a Foxtrot force. But this whole time, there's a lot of communication going by on both teams. There's a lot of attack markers, help markers being dropped down. And you can see, even though we have the total map from right to left, you can see that Dirty D was able to walk these Jagers all the way down the edge here. He lit up my Malkas, and in a few minutes he'll light up the command vehicle in India. So cheers to Dirty D for slipping that recon past. You can see the Tomcats just have free reign. Nobody here on our team brought in 31Ms. And had we, I'm not even sure it would have been so effective. You can see that there's not a whole lot of Air Force actually going on whatsoever. A lot of the AA that they're bringing in is to neutralize our attack helicopters. And we do have some ground attack airplanes here, the MiG-27K. But probably causing the most trouble for them is our Malkas. We have 2 plus 3 Malkas. It's 5 Malkas. And it's without a doubt the most powerful round shelled out in the game. Not even the M110s can compare in war game to the damage output and the suppression factor for the Malkas. So you can see he lit up this command here with the Jagers, and it'll quickly be taken out by enemy arty. There it goes. Otherwise, you know, I own the hill here. I do believe we're going to push and attack here at some point. But you can see the majority of this map it's just really small skirmishes and then microing units. And if you see a unit, you know, you want to pick it off and take it out. There's not a whole lot of what I would say overwhelming pushes of force going on. But now we're a good 30 minutes into this game, and there's a lot of units on the field. There's a lot of points spent all across these lines here. So you can see it's very well tied up. In fact, yeah, there we go. It's a 20-point game, 10-point game. And here we go. We begin to push out a little bit into the Mike spawn. Once we had control of this hill here, you could snipe the supply lines. Here we go. Here's a push. We're going to see something happen here that's really the difference in the game. NATO calls out 6 Leopard 2A4s, Martyr Roland 2s. They already have a wealth of Challengers. So what has happened here is that the NATO just called out, 3 times 150, 450 times 2, 900 plus Rolands. NATO just called out 1,000 points worth of unit, and that's a very large concentration of force here. So as they're trying to win this battle, and as you can see, we're up by 500. Their only choice here is to push this hill. And I say that because that may have bankrupted a few players by calling in those tanks, right? So everywhere else, you know, these are stagnant units everywhere else, very stagnant, right? So they do push, and we lose a lot of points. Watch, 2 Havocs of mine drop. Su-24 gets shot down. A MiG-27K gets shot down. We lose this Yak. And what they've done is just took a 100-point lead. I believe we're going to lose these 2 Aculas as well. Yep, the Aculas start flying forward, and they both get shot down. So now they've taken a 300-point lead, and we're scrambling the defenses here. So all by circumstance, it just so happened that throughout this whole map, the major exchange of points is going to be in one small sector. And that was brought about by an offensive attack that forced them to bankrupt themselves, but also have a large concentration of force. So here we go. And now that they have that force, they're resupplying it. They're calling in more units, more tanks. And now the battle's almost over. 7,000 to 6,400. So at this point, they've taken a 700-point lead, nearly 800 points. And we're on TeamSpeak. Myself, Hayes, Sithis, and Super, and we're all saying, oh, we shouldn't have done this, we shouldn't have done that, we need to play for the draw, we should push here, we should push there, and it's chaos. It's absolute chaos on our TeamSpeak. So what is decided is that one player is going to push this route, and at the same time we're going to push over here, and we need to close this gap to force it to a draw. So we need to get a good 1,000 points or more before they get 800 points. So we'll see how that plays out. So Super begins his advance here. He's not going to be able to pick up a lot of points. There's not a lot of points sitting here. You know, that's 10, 10. Here's 110. And at the same time, we push over here. And these challengers eat up our tanks here. Maybe we could have attacked on the far left here. And the game's going to be over very soon. And there it is. It's a minor victory for NATO. Had we gotten 100 or 200 more points, it would have been a draw. But otherwise, a very good game. And I hope you got to see what the advantages of being on TeamSpeak are. Is there's no gaps in the line. There's coordinated attacks. My teammates were laying down markers for where Artie should drop, and I would lay the Artie. So it was just a joy it's always a joy to work with others on TeamSpeak, win or lose. And this was a very, very good game. Hats off to NATO for this. Again, I'll comment the replay. If you go to the forums, tutorial and walkthrough section, look for Russo's videos. On the very last page of that, it'll be number 33 with the replay attached. Until next time, everybody have a great day.